Sorry, squirrels, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Why is Adam Ragusa floating strawberries on rafts in his fish pond? Why is he hoisting a basket over his garden? Well, it's because Adam Ragusa is doing a couple of gardening experiments this season that I thought that you might be interested in hearing about. Don't know if it's going to work, but let's find out this summer together. So, I have become interested lately in aquaponics. Aquaponics is when you combine hydroponics with aquaculture, right? You grow fish, either ornamentally in my case, or potentially to eat. Those fish generate waste, which goes into the water, which then can be circulated directly around bare plant roots, and that's what hydroponics is. Lots of plants grow really, really well like that. And hopefully it becomes a virtuous cycle. Now, here in the greenhouse, obviously, I've been doing some decorative aquaponics, you might call it. This is the latest thing over here in the corner. I call it my rain garden. I'm very, very excited. It's part of the whole trough system. Just keep growing that ecosystem. So I asked myself two questions. One, what are some food plants, garden plants, that grow particularly well hydroponically? And the other question I asked is, well, what are some food plants that are particularly good to grow yourself? Like, just because you can grow it at home doesn't mean it's going to be any better than if you buy it at the grocery store. But like berries, fruits, generally, yeah, they tend to be better when you grow them yourself. So the answer to both of these questions is strawberries. So if this works, I'm going to do it from seed in the future. But for right now, I just grabbed a flat of strawberries from my local garden store. And whenever you want to convert a plant from conventionally grown to hydroponically grown, what you can do is just grab your garden hose, put it on a kind of brutal spray setting, and just brutally spray off the roots. And the roots can take a lot of torment, but the dirt can't, and you just keep at it, and eventually you're going to have things that are just completely clean. I'm not saying this works with all plants, and not all plants grow hydroponically, but a lot of them really do. Now, I could grow them inside my fish water here in the greenhouse. It would work, and they'd be protected. I don't know, it might get too hot in here for them. They kind of need that spring chill. Well, there's a wide, flat area available for agricultural production. Sure, let's put it into the koi pond. It'll be protected under the net. Yeah, let's try floating aquaculture, long used by civilizations that had some water and not a lot of flat land. We'll need a raft of some kind, and so here's one of these plastic seedling containers from the garden store, real cheap. I'll just punch some holes in there so that the plants can stick out through the other end, and just jam them on through there. Okay, plant on top, roots on the bottom. This should work. And it comes with its own lid here, which should provide another layer of protection against birds. And let's just put her out to sea, huh? That's working. That's working. No, that's not working. It's listing. Oh, the humanity. Should have seen that coming, but I was just trying to do the cheap option. Let's go with a more expensive option. So these are some flat bird feeders I found. You're supposed to hang them like this, put bird seed there, the birds land, that's what it's for. But I think because it's wood, it'll float. So let's just go ahead and punch some holes in there. And I thought that was plastic, but that's metal. Okay, let's do this. That'll do. Probably not super safe, but that'll do. All right, jam the plants down in there. Okay, roots on the bottom, plants on top, and we can just put these out to sea, and they're plenty buoyant. Okay, I think this should work. Now, I don't have any kind of lid or netting for them, but then again, I think that very few birds end up risking going into the net that covers the entire koi pond, and when it is, it's usually a dove, and because the doves are kind of dumb, and I'm not really worried what they're going to do. So out here on the open seas, these plants should get the benefit of all of the natural sunlight and temperature fluctuations that normally produce delicious strawberries. The squirrels certainly can't get to them unless they learn how to swim. My only risk is some maybe birds, but I suppose even in the event of an emergency, I could probably rig some kind of netting around the top. I don't know. We'll see what they do. And I suppose, could throw a few in the rain garden, see what they do. Okay, garden experiment number 2 is I need to do something about the damn squirrels and my outdoor vegetable garden. They just pick green tomatoes right off the plants, and so I knew I was going to have to fully enclose the garden this year if I want any progress at all, and I wanted to try to figure out a way to do that with the minimum amount of structure, right? People build all kinds of crazy, basically second homes for their vegetable gardens, and I'm not saying I'm above that. I mean, I might totally do that, but I wanted to sort of try what you could do with just one really tall pole. All right, so if you want to do what I did here, what you're going to need is the tallest wooden dowel that you can fit in your car from the hardware store, and then some piece of PVC pipe that it will actually fit into the dowel. And is it going to fit? It's going to fit. Oh, that's a good look, Adam. Now, no garden post lasts forever, of course, but to try to extend the life of this thing, I might as well go ahead and paint it with some water seal, a couple of coats just to give it a few more years. Now, the pole is going to seat inside the PVC, so the PVC needs to seat in the ground. Luckily, where I live, I've got like a few feet of topsoil, and then it's just solid clay underneath, so I'm just going to drive this directly into the clay. Just going to grab a little wooden board there so I can distribute my hammer strike across the entire surface of that PVC cut end there, and I'm just going to drive that baby into the clay about as deep as I can stand. If I didn't have clay in my soil, I would probably need to like dig a bigger hole, put the post in there, and put in some like post-setting cement. That would work. And now we can just slide this pole in and right back out again whenever we want to. Have fun with that, boys on the internet. So now we're going to need like a massive net that is wide enough to tent over my entire vegetable garden. So I'm going to have to take probably a few of these and then connect them from side to side. Not sure how that's going to work. I've done it with staples before, but that's just going to take so long. And they're not really sticking. And this is going to create a situation where there's just staples raining down onto the garden all the time. That's not great. All right, so time out. Legit. What I'm going to show you next is a very stupid example of a very wonderful, brilliant, and important thing. I have found throughout my life and my career, and this is hardly a novel observation on my part, but I've just really found it to be true in my case, is that like whenever I could learn a bunch of totally different skills, like things from totally different disciplines and worlds, I would find ways to combine them that would be interesting and new and would kind of give me an advantage over people who only had expertise within one field. And how this is manifested for me lately is that because I've been like playing around with aquarium fish so much, now I have all this like aquarium knowledge that I can apply to gardening and to food and stuff, and here's an example of that. You know, where you want to get a really good, big, strong, wide net at an aquarium store, well, actually like a pond store. The nets that stretch over koi ponds, those are the biggest, strongest nets that you're going to find at someplace that's not a trapeze supply shop. So there we go. We just unfurl that baby, and then we just stick the pole up right under her, and we just mount the pole into its sitting there, and well, that's working pretty good, except, look at that. All right. When we pull taut against the net, it is just going to spring a hole right in the top there at the tip of that sharp pole. Let's remember that sharpness is just the quality of a whole lot of force being concentrated onto a very, very small area, right? We need to distribute that force across a wide area. So here's one of these like hanging planter baskets. They come with these nice little cages underneath. This is light. It's not going to catch the wind and cause the whole thing to blow over. This should work. So I just need to kind of put that onto the pole, and that's not going to happen there. So we're going to need to go into here and we'll just cut out a little disc of wood or something like that. Don't look to me for power tool safety tips, for God's sake. Probably should wipe this with a little bit of water seal just to extend its life. And then I think we can probably hammer this on here with sort of bent nail trick. Okay, yeah, that'll do, and there we go. This will distribute that pulling force across a much wider area of the net, and that should be much safer, much more stable, and it will even give us a little bit more height and width to the whole tent. So there we go. Up it goes. All right, this is going to work. Now we just need to secure the ends of the net around the edge of the garden. I was thinking that I could just kind of put them underneath these gigantic rocks, and that would be really attractive. Plus, it would leave no gaps at all for small animals to get up through there, but that's just not going to work. I just can't do that. These rocks are too big. Plus, everybody knows that Adam Ragusa is into steaks. Just drive some good old-fashioned stakes into the ground there, pulling taut on the net as we go.
Hey, get out of there.
She wants to be in...
You're not supposed to... This is supposed to repel you.
Leave myself a little door up here at the corner, and there. I think this is going to work. This is going to work. I can grow tall stuff here in the tall area, and just kind of low-lying plants down here in the crawl-around area, and that should do me. I say should because the squirrels of this property are ingenious. They will find a way, but... I don't know. I'm not dumb myself. I can outthink them. We'll see. We'll see if this works. We'll see if you can enclose your entire very large area vegetable garden with a single long pole and net. We'll find out over the course of this summer together. But right now, let's find out what my next Squarespace site might look like. I've got to build a new one, and Squarespace, of course, is the sponsor of this video. You know, you don't have to have your own pictures to build your Squarespace site. They have, like, image libraries built right into Squarespace that you can use, but I guess I'll use a picture of my own, and normally I look for, like, you know, an appealing, attractive photo of myself, but I don't know. I'm too mature for that. I'm too old for that now. So let's just go with like the least flattering frame I can get of myself. Let's see. Is it there? Waiting for it. Oh, that's pretty bad. Oh, yeah. Starting to fall backwards. There you go. That's money. Yeah, we just say create website. What's my site about? Oh, you can promote physical business, sell services, online courses, so many different things. I just need something simple because I'm semi-retired. You can kind of build your own templates, but I'm going to use one of these beautiful templates right here. Let's see. Ooh, that's nice. Color palette might not be me, but you can change those things around. And I just throw in my goofy picture and Ragusia, baby. I think I actually kind of like that font color. Well, that's as good of an idea as I've had yet for my new website. You'll probably do better. You're probably smarter than me. And you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with my link and code. Just go to squarespace.com/Ragusia. Use my code Ragusia at checkout. You'll be doing you and me both a favor. And hey, if your design skills are as bad as mine, there's also people that you can hire through Squarespace too to just build it for you. But you'll probably do just fine. It's everything you need. Thank you, Squarespace. I suppose we could just put one more strawberry over here and see how it does.